Good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live. It's a big fixture here in E10 today and a big wink and a kiss to the fans wherever you're watching from around the globe. I'm delighted to be bringing you this match against the Cobblers. I'm joined by Joe Widdowson and Glenn Wilkie in the studio, and today is a day where we are marking the memory of a great man, probably one of the greatest to ever be at this club. It's Justin Edinburgh, of course, managing both teams today. Remembering him today, and Joe, a man you played under. What a guy he was, and what a special occasion to remember him by today.
Yeah, just amazing, wonderful memories of being at the club and playing under Justin. I've spoken about him a few times. I don't think I can speak highly enough of him. Brilliant manager, but an even better person. I think he built special relationships with everyone at the football club, also the players, staff, supporters. Everyone just adored him. Such a brilliant guy. Like me personally, I think I probably had my best spell of my career playing under him. Most enjoyable. Felt like I learnt the most. And he was just a brilliant guy, really. You know, the sort of guy that is beyond the kind of player-manager relationship. You know, you'd call him up, you'd chat about different sort of things with him. And it was a kind of manager that, he was very, he just always had his door open, and he'd want to build those relationships, and he'd want to have sort of those conversations, banter, go out for a drink, do you know what I mean? And get to know your family as well. So really, really special guy.
I mean, when he joined us, we looked destined for the National South, Glenn. He turned it around, and then he propelled us really to where we are now. How proud would he be seeing the club on the whole and seeing the foundations he laid?
Massively. For us to go on, he built. He's like the building blocks, for us to get back into the league. In where we've come from, 3-4 years ago, whatever it is, to come up, he would have been immensely proud. And I actually remember going to watch him when he used to play for Tottenham. My neighbour took me to Tottenham a lot, and I used to watch him, and he was a great player as well. Joey works under him, as he's just said, as a manager, and what a guy he is. But as a player as well, he was an absolute great left back. Won the FA Cup with Tottenham in '91, and he just, everything about him, from speaking to people who work around him and have been under his management, there's just not one person has ever had anything negative to say about him.
I mean, a genuinely great guy, and we'll be remembering him today. Hopefully he'll be wearing his Orient scarf up in the up where he is. But he loved this club. He was loved by every club that he was at as well, wasn't he?
He was, and do you know what was funny, Ollie? Because since retiring and obviously still sort of involved in football, you go on and you meet people and have certain conversations, and everybody brings up Justin everywhere I go. People that have played with him, people that used to watch him, people that have come across him at some point. In football, and everyone's just got such great things to say, and you have a laugh and you talk about the way he used to be and how he was, and everyone's got such special memories of him. So it's for me personally, it's great when people bring him up. I love that talking about him, and people say, oh, did he used to do this and that, and he's just such a fantastic guy. And then I think you summarised it. I think he really laid the foundations. When we were. Those dark times, sort of early days in the National League, when it looked like things were really kind of going south, and he came in and he absolutely rescued us and turned things around. And the position that the club's in today, I think, is massively down to the work that he put in and the foundations he laid.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be remembering him for the whole of today, and look forward to that as well. But let's turn our attention to the match. Northampton here in E10. Set to be a rambunctious one. It always is against the Cobblers.
It is, and they've always traditionally been a really tough, aggressive, big, direct team to play against. I don't know what they're like this season. I haven't seen them. I don't know what they're like under Kevin Nolan, whether they get the ball down and like to play. But they're always horrible to play against. And walking in today, some of the supporters talking to me, and they say they're our bogey team. They say they're our bogey team. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. Whether we've just been out-muscled in the past when we haven't had the win. But they got their first win last week, so they're on a bit of a high. Obviously, we've come off the back of a bad performance and a bad loss last week. So it'll be interesting today. Very interested. But I don't know, what's Kevin Nolan like as a manager?
Well, I remember them coming in quite early on in his tenure when he took over last season, and I remember them being super aggressive, pressing us really high. And I think they came away and won that day.
They took 6 points off of us last year.
They did, yeah. And I was really impressed with them that day. You know, they worked really hard. I think they had wing backs. They played with 3 at the back with wing backs, and they were just really like super aggressive. You know, very direct, physical, sort of like really up for the battle as you'd expect from a Kevin Nolan team. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a similar approach from them today.
They haven't had the greatest starts this season. They did get a win in their last league game, though, the first of their campaign. We need to bounce back from last Saturday as well, though, don't we? So it's a bit of a toss-up.
Definitely, yeah. Like they hadn't won all season until last Saturday when I forget who they beat, but they won Exeter. They beat. We've come off the back of that poor showing last week at Mansfield. Now, for me, first game of the season, we had a poor showing against Huddersfield. We had to bounce back. We played Wigan. And I remember saying at the time, we need to compete, we need to be better, our attitude needs body language, attitude, everything you need to do to win a game of football, without the ball you need to do to give yourself a chance. We won, we drew, we've come back and had that really bad performance and result last week, but we need to bounce back today. And everything has to be right. And like Joey just said, Northampton are going to be physical, they're going to be aggressive. We need to not only match them, but we need to be more. The way we run, the distance we cover, the strength in the tackles, the duels in the air, everything. We need to be better than Northampton today to stand any kind of chance of winning this game.
We certainly do. Well, we're going to take a look at the team news very shortly, but before we do that, it's time to hear from the gaffer. It's the main man himself. It's Richie Wellens.
Gaffer, Northampton to come on Saturday. We've had a 4 weeks training in us. How much are we looking forward to getting back to it?
Can't wait, because obviously we want to put last week to bed. Performance that wasn't like us. Very reminiscent of our first season back in League One when we played Portsmouth at home and just conceded stupid goals, and it wasn't like us. Seen a stat the other day, since 22-23 season, no club in the country, and that includes the Premier League, so out of 92 clubs no one has kept more clean sheets than us in that period. So ultimately we want to get back to keeping clean sheets and being difficult to play against, but for some stage of the first half, and especially last half an hour, even though we was down to 10 men, we wasn't difficult to play against, so we need to get back to that.
When you get a performance like that, which I think came a little bit out of the blue, is it good to have a full week to really debrief it and move on?
Sometimes you want a game as quick as possible. I think more than anything, the players need to look in the mirror and accept that it wasn't good enough. I think we've got good people at this football club, and when you've got good people, they take accountability and forget everything else. Have pride in your own performance and respect for your teammates to run and fight. But at stage of that game, we didn't do that, and we, like I said, we let everybody down.
Northampton got their first win last weekend. What can we expect from them? Because they gave us 2 difficult games last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had an easy game against Northampton, whether it was League 2, League 1, well organised, defensively sound. Watched the Southampton game, they made it difficult for Southampton, who were obviously a good championship team. And then they got the win against Exeter. So I've said it to you many times, it doesn't matter who we play against. We make it as hard or as easy for ourselves with what we do. So more than anything, we need to be straight back at it.
Right then, without much further ado, let's take a look and see how the O's are shaping up for this home clash against the Cobblers, and it is a good opportunity to bounce back, and a bounce back is indeed needed. And starting in goal is the number one, it's Tommy Simpkin. Across the back line we have Teo Adaramola and Tom James in the fullback positions, with Dan Happy partnering the captain Omar Beckles in the heart of defence. Tyreek Bakinson and Sean Clare are in the midfield, with Oli O'Neill, Jaleng Jayasimi and Josh Koroma just ahead of them two, with Aaron Connolly leading the line. And on the bench for the O's is Killian Cahill, Romani Edmonds-Green, Michael Craig, Charlie Wellens, Jack Morehouse, Dimitri Mitchell and Azim Abdullahi. So, a handful of changes. Obviously Idris El Mazouni suspended following the 2 yellow cards last week. Tom James coming in for Craig. It's no surprise really that there's been a couple of tweaks, seeing how last week panned out.
Definitely. And is there knocks, is there injuries, are players tired? That all goes into the mix as well. But there had to be changes after last week's performance, because it was way below par, and it sends a message out, because if you keep the same side after the showing last week, if you're a player who sat on the bench, and you'd be questioning the manager, like, why am I not getting a chance? Look what's happened, what's gone on. So I can understand why there's changes, And it's now up to them players who have come in to start to keep their shirt and show the manager that they should be starting every week or at least majority of the week. But it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game, but we just really need to be at it from the first minute.
We certainly do. Defensively then, you look at last week and maybe 4-1 wasn't quite a true reflection in the manner that the last goal was conceded and how the first goal was scored. But we did concede 4 goals. And if you're Richie and the coaches, you now look at that and you don't let that happen again.
Yeah, of course. I think, if you look at all the best spells that we've ever had under Richie, we've been defensively solid. We've been sound, keeping clean sheets or sort of keeping goals conceded to a minimum. And that obviously wasn't the case last weekend. Conceded too many chances, too easy to create chances against and obviously score against. And I think Richie referred to it there in his pre-match. He said we can make the game as easy or hard as we want to, and by that he means doing those things. It means being switched on, concentrated, set pieces, defending well, clearing your lines, not taking risks or inviting pressure when you don't need to. They're the sort of basic things that, if you do right, you have a better chance of winning games. And I think that's what we'll be looking for today, just to get back to being solid at the back, restricting Northampton to very little opportunities, and then letting our attacking players go and hopefully do their stuff at the top end.
It's interesting you mentioned the first goal last week where the guy scored from the halfway line. 2 weeks ago I was having a chat with one of the players from Stockport before the game, and he said to me, he was mentioning Simkin in goal, and he said he's a good goalkeeper, etc, etc, and he said, but we've noticed how far he is off his line when you've got the ball. So our instruction is, if our midfield win the ball anywhere near the halfway line, is to shoot without even looking. And that's what they were planning 2 weeks ago. It didn't happen in that game. Fast forward a week, Mansfield have obviously had a look at the games and looking at his starting position when we have the ball. So they've sort of scored the goal from it. So it'd be interesting to see how his starting position is today, whether he continues to have that really high line of that starting position when we have the ball, or whether that sort of made him think about it and he won't start too far out of his box.
That's what he's been instructed to do, no doubt. That he wouldn't have just gone off his line without that tactic. So do you stick by that? It happens once. Do you bear it in your mind? Do you learn from it? How do you go about kind of dealing with that from last week?
Me personally think, why is he doing that, right? Why is he doing that? Does he look at the 2 centre-halves? You look at Omar and you look at Dan Appen. Are they rapid? Are they very, very quick? Depends on who they're playing against. Maybe they're playing against a really, really quick forward, right? So is he worried about the ball over the top? So he's starting position so high that he can get to the ball first and clear the ball. Is that the case? Has he been instructed to do that by the coaching staff, the goalkeeping coach? Or is that just naturally how he is? Because playing in the Championship, Premiership, you see these players play that high. And it's very rare that they do get caught out, although the game here against Man City last season, Man City goalkeeper gets done by Jamie Donnelly. So it does happen, and it's more and more evident in the game today. But I'm just really intrigued to see if he continues to do that, or he thinks, right, I'm just going to hold back a bit.
We'll see. But looking at some of the changes then, starting with Tom Jones, whilst we talk about being defensive, he's a slightly attacking option, or he's definitely a lot of quality to bring into your back line, and he had something different from that right back position, doesn't he? And a lot of quality. Yeah,
he does, and also familiarity. I think it's another kind of key component. He's been here a few years. He knows exactly how Richie wants to play. He knows Omar Beckel's game inside out. That right hand side. It's very familiar. Do you know what I mean? And I think going back to what Richie said about wanting to be solid, he, as much as he is a forward-thinking player and he wants to be involved higher up the pitch, he knows what's expected defensively. So I think he'll probably give us, hopefully, be a little bit more solid back there. But also, we know what he can bring from set pieces when he does get into those advanced areas. He's got great quality as well, so he can be a real weapon, can't he, going forward?
Do you think that he's also potentially been brought back in because Northampton might be a bit more direct, set pieces? I don't know how big they are they a big physical side? Has he been brought in over Craig just because he's not bad in the air for his size as a right back? I think that could also be an option.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think like size is experience as well. And then I think if you look at the 2 fullbacks together, Adaromola's a lot more kind of forward thinking, he will want to run and advance higher up the pitch. So maybe it might be that Tom James shuffles around and offers that bit more protection in a sort of back three with Dan Happy and Omar Beckles, and allowing him off the leash down the left hand side.
That happened a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? We thought it was a back four, and then all of a sudden we started with a back three and Tom James was in it. What's to say we don't do that today, because they play with three at the back.
And that really caught Stockport out by surprise when we did it. Maybe Northampton would have looked at that Stockport game and known it as a possibility today, but it allows a bit more fluidity.
It does, but the thing is, with any football game, we've just got to do what we can do. We've got to control the controllables, right? So when we don't have the ball, we've got to be very disciplined. We've got to get into our shape early doors and make it as difficult as possible for Northampton. When we do have the ball, can we go at pace? Can we play forward quickly in the right areas? When there's not a pass on, don't dwell on the ball. Don't get caught out like we did last week for one of the goals. Then they go and hit us on the break. We just got to do the basics. We say it's the basics, but every footballer knows what they should and shouldn't be doing, right? As soon as you lose the ball in an area, you know, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just clipped it into a bit of space forward and pushed us out the pitch and go and win it back up there. It's certain times players don't want to do something to make them look bad, like they're giving the ball away or something like that. Sometimes you need to do that for the team. Let the crowd boo you for 2 seconds. What's that? What's this? What? You know, sometimes you need to put the ball into areas when there may not be an Orient shirt there, just to give your defence a bit of a breathing space, get up, get organised, and then defend from the front.
I think with any like possession-based team, and obviously Richie wants his team to look a certain way, sometimes there's a danger you can get a little bit over-obsessed with how you want to be with the ball, to the point where you actually neglect what you're going to do when you don't have the ball. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, as much as they'll want to go out and pass the ball and you know, have their patterns and play a certain way, you've got to be aware of losing the ball, do you know what I mean? And those turnovers, especially when you're away from home, do you know what I mean? When the teams are going to come at you a little bit more, obviously happened last week and you're conceding chances. So as much as you want to do the right things with the ball, it's about being organised, being solid, and doing those things that probably we used to think about as defenders naturally. Do you know what I mean? We wouldn't like you didn't want, as a defender, you don't want to concede goals. You know, you want to be solid, organised, set pieces. You hate conceding from corners and that sort of thing. But they are such important parts of football.
They are. Let's talk about the goals now then, because goals win games. Aaron Connolly and Jai Simi just behind him as well, who's looked really good in that 10 position at times this season. A positive, but it's Aaron Connolly we're going to be looking to for that spark, that goal, or hopefully 2 goals, hopefully 3. And we'll see some clips now, and hopefully we see some more of what he's about today.
He's really good. He drops in, he gets the ball. He's got great touch. He's always looking forward. He's very positive in the way he is, and he's finishing. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, this was his first shot on target of the season, and he tucks it in. You know, you've seen him get frustrated at times because he knows how good he is and he knows what he can bring to the team. And he does sometimes where he could lay a pass off to somebody else. He's a centre forward and he just wants to shoot. And I don't mind that. If I'm a manager and my forward wants to shoot from everywhere, let him do it, because you know the quality he's got. Once he starts, yes, he got his first goal 2 weeks ago. Once he starts getting them opportunities and we get the ball into him in the right areas, he will go on and score. And interesting looking at an interview this week by him, what the club put out, he fully expects himself to be the top goal scorer in this league, or certainly up there in the top 2 or 3. So his confidence is really high, but we just need to get him the ball at the right time to give him the opportunity to score.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully some more goals today. We'll see him getting up that scorers charts. But now we're going to take a look at the Northampton side very shortly. But first, let's have a quick ad break and hear from our new Orient Live sponsors.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the U.S., giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at Fuda.com. That's FOODA.
A massive thank you to our sponsors, Fuda, and of course if you're watching from stateside, make sure you check them out. But now let's take a look and see how the away side shape up as they prepare to face Leyton Orient. Starting in goal for the Cobblers, we have number 1, there it is Roberts, in its a This is the wrong lineup. That is the Mansfield Town lineup. That is not the lineup. We will try and get the proper one, but I'll read it out to you anyway. So number 1 is Lee Burge. Across the back 3 is Jack Perkins, Conor McCarthy, alongside Max Dyche as they play their back 3. Nesta, Guinness, Walker, Dean Campbell, and the captain Sam Hoskins are in midfield with Terry Taylor in there as well. Tyrese Forner, Ethan Wheatley, and Cameron McGeehan are the attacking players for Northampton today. There's the lineup for you if you want to give that a read as well. And on the bench for Kevin Nolan's side is Ross Fitzsimmons, Michael Forbes, Jordan Thornley, Joe Wormleighton, Jack Burrows, Elliot List, and Tom Eves. So we've touched on it already, Joe, but you know they're a club that will be looking to build on their first win of the season, and they pose us tough tests, and it will be another one today.
Yeah, and I think they're probably in quite a similar position, just looking at their team sheet to us, in terms of a lot of outgoings, a lot of new signings, probably still trying to gel, find their kind of their best shape and start at 11. So I think they're in that kind of transition stage as well. Obviously coming off the back of a good win, much needed win for them last weekend. So I think, look, as we said, one thing you know from this team is they're going to be competitive, they will be aggressive, they will be hard working, and they will press. So I can see it being a similar game to what it was last season when they came here and really, started on the front foot and wanted to have a right go. But I just think, in the Orient lineup there is more quality. I think Josh Rome has been in brilliant form. We spoke about Aaron Connolly. I think if we get it right and manage to eradicate, the giving away the silly chances that we did last weekend, I think we should hopefully have enough to win the game today.
Despite only winning the one game, they haven't lost by many goals this season. It's been 1 or 2 goals. They've kept a couple of clean sheets as well. You can look and say, they've only won one game, but that's maybe a bit of a false stat.
It's not a false stat because it is a stat. But I know what you mean. They're difficult to break down. Yes, they're losing games by the odd goal or whatever. But you look at all the teams in this division. Everyone goes through spells where they don't concede or they don't score. It's just so early in the season at the moment. It's gonna just be a tough game today, I believe. And what I hope the game is, and what I hope for the supporters, it's a real battle where there's 50-50 tackles and people are smashing into each other and the crowd are off their feet and there's yellow cards flying out.
Proper game of football.
Just to the Northampton players, of course. But I just want it to be a real, even if there's not loads of goals, I just want it to be a real sort of battle out there, and just to give everyone a bit of a lift. And then obviously with our great players up front, and once we get chances, I'm sure we will go on and score goals. But I think the supporters today will have a massive impact. Where
do you see the quality in this Northampton side then, Joe? Where would you sense danger? It's if we start with our 4-2-3-1, it's a bit of a mismatch in terms of shape, but where do you see them hurting us?
I think, you look at the likes of Sam Hoskins, who's scored goals consistently over a number of years. I think he's been there nearly 10 years now at the club, been a big part of the success they've had, getting up from League Two. They've lost a couple of key players, Mitch Pinnock, who got a number of assists for them last season. But yeah, look, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with their team, so I'm very interested to see what sort of threats they pose out there today. Cameron McGeehan as well, been around a lot, proven at this level, got good quality. So yeah, they've got decent players. We'll have to make sure that we're right at it today.
It's down to us to take the game to them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a home team, and the players want to give the supporters and the manager a positive reaction after last week, because yes, he's come out and he's told it how it is. He's been very honest and said the performance was way below par, and he's probably told them in a lot stronger words. They need to react. We've got aspirations of getting out of this league this season. These are the games where good teams, promotion teams, bounce back straight away. You don't go on runs where you don't win for 3-4 games and all the heads drop. You bounce back immediately, and that's what this team needs to do today.
We're seeing E10 fill up very nicely here. We can hear the atmosphere building outside. Northampton do travel well, and we've said already, they've maybe been a bit of a bogey team in recent years. Kevin Nolan, former manager of ourselves, albeit for a fairly short period. It does feel like there'll be that edge to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the fans will be right up for it. It's like they come here and I think they expect they expect their team to have a go. They've obviously done all right against Orient over the years, and I think especially for Kevin Nolan coming back to one of his former clubs, he wants his team to really kind of impose himself and put on a performance. So I can see it being competitive. As Glenn said, I hope it's just a good game of football, and we come out winners.
the players walking out of the Justin Edinburgh stand here. Of course, on our Justin Edinburgh Memorial Day, I'm sure they were giving it a little bit extra just for him. But it's obviously not a must-win because we're so early in the season. But with the factor of last week, you do look at it and you go, we need to go out there and perform.
100% need to do that. I just think players, if the game does get a bit erratic, I think certain players especially, need to keep their head, because after what happened with the red card last week, we can't afford Connolly to get sent off for, because he plays with his heart on his sleeve. People like that just need to keep their head, do their jobs, go out and perform to the best that they can, and if they do that, we'll come off winning today.
And we do always show resilience and respond well to setbacks, and do you have faith today, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been one of our, the hallmarks of Richie's time at the club. We've had difficult spells and difficult results, but his team's always bounced back. He demands that, he expects that, and I think we'll see it today.
Hopefully so. Well, both sets of players getting ready for the big game. So now let's hand over to our commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Just as they did after the opening day defeat at Huddersfield, they followed it up with a comprehensive victory here.